There's a pattern that shows up again and again after avoidant breakups, one that most people miss because they're watching for the wrong signs. And when those signs don't appear, the story becomes simple and painful. Maybe they don't miss you. Maybe you never mattered at all. Maybe they're never going to regret losing you. But what if you're looking in the wrong place? Because there's a hidden emotional process avoidants go through before regret ever shows up. And once you understand it, everything about their behavior starts to make sense. Now, the truth is, for most avoidant partners, that feeling of regret doesn't hit them all at once. Instead, it creeps in sideways. It shows up in moments that they don't quite notice at first. But as they progress through this hidden process, it slowly becomes clear that something fundamental is starting to shift inside of them. Now, for you, that means the real question isn't when your avoidant ex will feel regret. It's what has to happen first before they realize you're actually gone. So, here's what we're going to do. First, I'll give you a quick win, an easy step you can take right now so you know where your ex is in this process. Then we'll walk through the internal emotional process avoidants have to go through to feel regret. After that, I'll give you a simple protocol to follow so you're not just waiting, you're doing something that actually helps you start to heal while they realize what they've lost. And near the end, I'll walk you through some common, yeah, but what if objections that you most likely have in your head. Now, at the very end, I'm going to tell you exactly what real regret looks like so you'll have some control and clarity when they do come back. So let's dive in with a quick and easy trick you can use to figure out if they're in phase one of the regret process. This is a reality check that you can do anytime to settle down, calm your nerves, and gain some insight. Now, if your ex leans avoidant, and you're really starting to obsess over whether or not they are in the missing you phase, then ask yourself this: have they reached out in the last 7 days? But not with a passive text like, hey, what's up? Or happy birthday. Not a social media like, not just them viewing your story, but an actual deep and meaningful message. If the answer is no, then they haven't cycled through this emotional process yet, and they're most likely in phase one. Now, the reason we know that is because attachment research shows us that avoidant partners in phase one subconsciously use deactivating strategies. That means emotional suppression, distancing, downplaying the relationship, and this connection you share. Now, I know that can feel harsh because you want them to miss you right away, but that's not how they are wired. And here's why this matters more than you might think. It matters because in this early phase, you are not missing some secret window where they're desperate to hear from you. You're not losing them by staying in no contact. You're allowing all of that emotional intensity to settle down, pause, and reset. Now, ironically, once you've done that, then it's often the first time they do begin to miss this connection you share. But I want you to notice how it's the opposite for you. Notice how doing no contact, or even when you start to consider doing no contact, it might make a part of you panic. And that panic Is your attachment style being triggered? We'll come back to that another time. But right now, let's talk about what's actually going on with your avoidant ex. To make this easy, I'm going to use a simple model and name 4 phases that they most often go through before reaching the moment they realize you're really gone. Think of this as the delayed emotional process an avoidant goes through before they can fully feel regret. Now, phase 1 is relief and release. Right after the breakup, a lot of avoidance will begin to feel lighter, clearer, even weirdly upbeat. At this moment, they tell themselves, I can finally just breathe, let go, and start to relax. Now there's no more pressure. There's no more heavy talks, no need to find just the right thing to say or do because they can just be alone for a while. And at this point, they may jump into distractions like work, hobbies, exercise, or for some, a rebound relationship. But that doesn't mean they never cared about you. It's just an automatic response they developed long ago. Now, phase 2 is quiet comparison. So as the weeks go by, and they begin to settle down and get comfortable with a routine, they may start to notice the small ways life feels different without you. This is not in any way a big dramatic moment. It's just a vague feeling that life seems different now without this connection. You'll recognize this phase when they start asking mutual friends about you, checking your social media. Often in this phase, they are polite but emotionally distant. They might respond to a text from you when before they would just ignore it. They might even reach out and text you first, but they keep everything brief, neutral, and surface level. This can easily be mistaken as them starting to regret the breakup. But again, it's not a sign of the real regret that I'll tell you about at the end of this video. Now, phase 3 is delayed nostalgia. An avoidantly attached person may not feel nostalgia right away, but as life moves forward and things begin to change, they start to slow down, unwind, and notice all of those warm memories beginning to surface. For them, it's like a moment that feels familiar, a song that takes you back, a place that your mind revisits safely from a distance until slowly or all at once you feel all of those good feelings washing over you and you feel that sense of connection again. Now, this phase may not last for long, but you'll know they're in it when you see them reaching out and bringing up past memories, reminding you of inside jokes you share, mentioning places you went together. They might text you late at night, send you old photos, or just ask how you're doing. But I want you to understand they're not fully there yet. They're not quite feeling that sense of regret until they reach phase 4. But phase 4 can go one of 2 ways: regret or rationalization. Here's what happens. Some avoidants stay in their heads and talk themselves out of the regret. They say it was for the best. They say you were too much for them. You were too needy. You were too clingy. But others, after enough time in no contact, actually start to feel that loss in a way that pushes them to reach out, even if they do it awkwardly or indirectly. Now, I'm going to tell you exactly what real, genuine regret is in just a minute. But if you're listening to this thinking, I need more than just a YouTube video, I need a plan, then that's exactly why I created the no contact safety net. It's a step by step roadmap specifically for people coming out of anxious avoidant breakups who are stuck in that obsessive loop with their ex. Inside, you'll get scripts for replying to your ex, tools to help you settle down and feel calm, and structured decision frameworks so you're not guessing whether to hold your boundary, respond calmly, or return to no contact when your emotions spike. There is also a dedicated system for decoding avoidant mixed signals and helping you understand what their messages likely mean so you can stop endlessly analyzing everything they do. Now, I'll link that below, but before we wrap up, I need to tell you the one critical thing about regret. You might regret losing your ex, and they might regret losing you. But real regret means owning your own behavior, acknowledging how it impacted your partner, and showing a genuine willingness to do things differently. Because without this, you will be right back where you started. Now, if you're here with me, watching this video, listening to me talk about regret, and really starting to understand what's happening with your ex, then I want you to know that it's perfectly normal to imagine them coming back to you, to hear them saying all the things you most want them to say, see them doing all the things you most want them to do in a way that really makes you feel loved and valued. Now, this is where I hope you realize something important. The goal isn't to wait for them to change, it's to know what gives you stability, clarity, and the option to reconnect with them only if it's right for you. And this is the point where just understanding the phases they are in isn't enough. Because understanding what's happening with your ex isn't the same as knowing exactly what you should do next when they suddenly reach out or when the quiet pain and worry is starting to overwhelm you. Now, that's exactly why I created the no contact safety net, so you can just get it and know what to do. Now, even if you never use something like that, understanding this next part will be critical because this is where most people accidentally reset the avoidance cycle without ever knowing it. So let's shift from when will they regret what's happened to what do I do with myself right now? Because this is how you can start to feel calm, clear, and in control once more. Now, I'm going to give you a simple 4-step protocol that you can start right away. You can remember it as the PACE protocol: protect, anchor, clarify, expand. Step 1 is protect. Protect your heart, protect your energy, protect your mental health. Stay with me because that means for at least the next 7 days, no checking their social media, no asking friends to report on them, no texting or looking back at old messages from them. And depending on where you are emotionally, many people find it helpful to create stronger boundaries. This means blocking their profile and their phone number, at least for a little while. Now, this isn't to punish them. This isn't just to win them back. This is just so you can take a moment and notice how good it feels to slow down, relax, and reset. Now, step 2 is anchor yourself in reality. Right now, your brain is obsessed with their internal world, what they're thinking, when they'll miss you, what they're doing without you. And instead, I want you to begin to focus on your body and how you feel as you turn your awareness inward and start to anchor yourself to something supportive. Here, you're going to do 3 daily check ins. 1, ask yourself, how do I feel in my body right now? 2, what do I need in the next hour to start to feel okay? And 3, what can I focus on that is actually in my control at this moment? If you want an even easier and more powerful way to do this, then follow the link above and listen to that meditation because it's a natural and easy way to let go and feel completely in control again. Now, step 3 is to clarify the whole relationship. Your mind will naturally start to romanticize this connection once it's gone. That's just human nature. So you're going to grab a notebook and make 2 columns. And as you're doing that, start to look back and remember all of the moments where they made you feel genuinely safe, seen, and cared for. Now, jot those down on the left side. Then, on the right side, you're going to list all of the ways that relationship could make you feel confused, anxious, or like you just needed more from them. Now, anytime you catch yourself thinking, we were perfect together, I want you to come back to that page and read what you've written down so you can clarify what the relationship was really like. This will be even more helpful when they come back and you're looking for that real sign of regret. Now, step 4 is expand your identity beyond being the one they left. Because right now, your entire story might feel like you're the person they didn't choose. You're the one who was rejected. You were the one that gave so much and was hurt. But there are other ideas you might explore. So you're going to pause that story and begin to pour your energy into the things that expand your life instead of shrinking it. I want you to pick one small expansion project for the next 30 days. It could be taking a class, returning to a hobby, starting meditation, exercise, or reconnecting with a supportive, caring friend. Anything that adds value to your life. Now, the goal here isn't to improve your life so drastically that they regret losing you. I know a lot of people promote that idea, but if you're focused on becoming the one they lost, then it means you're still living for their reaction. And this is about rebuilding the parts of your life that remind you that you are a whole person with your own interest, depth, and direction. So when you pace yourself like this, you'll begin to notice that 2 things are happening at once. Naturally, you start to let go of any worries you had about what your ex is doing or feeling right now. And you begin to acknowledge how you can feel more calm, relaxed, and secure without them during no contact. Now, this is where many people accidentally undo their progress because these 3 thoughts tend to show up right when things are starting to change for you. Now, the first is, if I pull back, they'll forget me. And this fear makes sense because your brain tells you that if you stop reaching out, they'll stop thinking about you for good. But avoidantly attached people do not forget you just because you stopped initiating contact. If anything, constant contact either pushes them farther away or it creates a situation where they never fully feel what they've lost. So, staying in no contact is really what allows avoidance to finally feel the weight of the loss even if that feeling shows up later than you expected. The second is they're with someone new, and that means I never mattered to them at all. This is one of the most painful conclusions people reach, and it usually comes from the mind trying to simplify loss into a clear, easy to understand story. But as you're becoming better informed, you quickly start to understand that rebounds and new connections are common because they feel less emotionally demanding. They don't carry the same expectations. They don't seem as needy. The avoidant doesn't feel smothered. And that is a hardwired deactivation strategy. Now, that doesn't erase what you shared. That doesn't mean they never cared about you. And it absolutely does not mean the new relationship is deep or stable. It just shows how they are managing discomfort right now. The third is if they ever truly regret leaving, then I'll have to take them back. Now, this really shows up when you begin to feel hope and fear at the same time. And what that really means is this: there's a part of you that wants to feel relief, and there's another part of you that wants to feel certainty. You want to feel relief from the anxiety and the waiting and the worrying, and you want proof. You want to feel certain that what you had mattered and it wasn't just one sided. But regret is a feeling, not a contract. So, no, you do not have to take them back because the truth is, someone can miss you, feel regret, and even love you. But you need to know that this person can actually show up in a healthy, consistent way that makes you feel safe, secure, and loved. Now, your role is not to automatically reopen the door if your ex shows regret. Your role is to know what you need in order to feel secure, respected, and emotionally safe with this person. Now, if you want to go deeper into the avoidant timeline and see more examples of how regret actually shows up, watch this video next. Does your avoidant ex want you back? 3 tests they use to decide. And if you're ready to focus more on no contact, then watch this: what happens after 30 days of no contact with an avoidant ex. I'll see you in that next video.